Awesome. Megan, I'm sure Megan in the background is probably going to let a few people in, but I think we can kind of kick things off and get started. Excited to chat everything TikTok Shop and talk about the success Comfort's had on the platform. We have quite a few speakers to get through today, so really happy to chat through it all. Megan, I don't know if you want to spin up the deck, but what we can do is walk through a quick agenda, and we have different parties on the call, a lot to talk about. And I believe Rebecca from the TikTok team is actually going to kick it off for us today. So maybe a quick one-on-one about TikTok Shop, which is great. So for anyone that's super new to the platform, I think just a walkthrough about the different channels, the way you can actually buy on TikTok Shop, what the viewers are going to see and the buyers are going to see. Rebecca's going to have a overview about that. And then it's going to kick over to me, if I'm not mistaken. So here at Overcast, talking more about the strategy and the technology behind activating TikTok Shop and how we've helped some really, really large brands grow on the platform. We're going to send it over to Kent from Loop Returns to talk about how important it is to make sure your infrastructure is set up for TikTok Shop. So obviously with this growing marketplace and virality, you're going to have a lot of orders. With a lot of orders, you have a lot of returns. So Kent will chat through a little bit about that. And then one of the largest stores every single month on TikTok Shop is Comfrt Clothing. So we have the team from Comfrt here that's going to talk a little bit about their success story on the platform, what they've done to activate from a foundational level, like integrate with Loop, integrate with us to push products over from Shopify, and also a little bit about the creators, right? How do you actually get this content flywheel going? How much content is actually necessary to win on the platform and everything in between? So excited for everyone to be here. With that being said, I believe I will hand it over to Rebecca to kick us off with the TikTok side.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie. I'm so excited to be here. First of all, let me do a quick introduction. My name is Rebecca, and I am from TikTok Shop's seller growth team. So we support all the sellers on the platform. And let me just walk you through some basic information about TikTok Shop in case some of y'all might not be super familiar. All right. So for the next slide, I'm sure if you have TikTok, you've probably seen the For You page before, but something that you might have missed is that a lot of the videos that we have now have this a yellow shopping cart on the bottom. So in here, you can click right into the product detail page and then view more information about the product and then go ahead and check out. It's all done in one app. You don't need to go to a different app to check out or anything like that. And if the customers find your products really interesting, they might advocate for yourself, for your brand on their own, which would be like organic traffic for you as well. So everything is really done in one app. It's really easy, it's really seamless, and yeah. Next slide, please. Yes. So if you're familiar with TikTok Shop, you've probably seen a lot of creator content. That is a huge part of TikTok. What makes it stands out from like the other platforms that you might see in today's traditional e-commerce space. And the creators really help amplify the decision-making process and the influence of your brand. And the content that you make will like further reach out to the customers on the platform. And another thing about TikTok Shop is that if you haven't stepped into the space yet, there might be your customers, potential customers already waiting for you on the platform, waiting to check out your product and buy and discover them on the For You page. And we really create a personalized in-app experience for everyone. So you're more likely to gain exposure facing the customers that are in your target audience pool. And next. Yeah, so this is the full funnel user journey on TikTok Shop. So first, like I said earlier, somebody will like check out your video, maybe like on their For You page. And then the shoppable photos is a new feature that we have. So instead of like a whole video, you can just use some photos of your product. So which makes content creation part super, super easy. And again, there's also the yellow shopping cart on the bottom where customers can just click into it and buy. And shop page is very powerful to discover new products as well. We will have a separate tab on the For You page, next to the For You page, actually, where you can browse all the products just like any other shopping apps. And one thing that I really want to highlight here is the live. I know that like going live might sound a little crazy to some, if you're not familiar, but going live is really, really fun way to interact with your customers and face them directly and just to meet with them and chat with them. And also, like, you can create a sense of urgency during live, especially with this new feature we just came out. It's called the auction live feature. So you can go live auction and then really like push your clients to like buy at the moment. So it really drives that sense of urgency. And the buying process, like I mentioned earlier, is very seamless. Everything's done in one app. And yeah, and let's move on to the next slide. Yes. So the onboarding process is really easy. So there are like four very easy steps. So first you'll go to the Seller Center and then you can sign up and then create a TikTok Shop business account and upload your documents. And to make it even easier for you in this webinar, we will show a QR code for everyone later, where if you sign up using that QR code, you will get a dedicated account manager with us. So they will help you smoother, even make your onboarding journey smoother. And next slide, please. So this is what your first 60 days on TikTok Shop will look like. So first, you're gonna set up all the foundation, and if you already have like a shop, let's say on Shopify or WooCommerce, it's actually even easier to list your products because we have this integration feature where you can bulk upload all of your product listings and during the first month, you're going to run promotions. You're going to test out different features on the app to see which one works best for you, and then optimize your content, and then start like posting, like trying live. And then after the first month, you can level up, integrate all of your strategies from marketing to product into content, and just to really like make your brand even stronger presence on the platform. And next, please. And here is the QR code that I promised. So make sure if you're interested in signing up, make sure you use this QR code. We'll have an account manager bind to your account as you sign up, and they'll help you with everything. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave in the chat. All right, thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Rebecca. And I did not introduce myself in the beginning, but good to meet everyone who's on the webinar. My name is Eddie Shea, co-founder and CEO here at Overcast Digital, and it's great to talk about maybe taking everything Rebecca said one step further after you got set up and onboarded, exactly how you can grow on the platform and some of the success that we've seen. So I will jump right into it. Ooh, sorry, perfect. So a quick intro to us. There's really two core pillars to our business here at Overcast. We are 99% TikTok Shop, so everything we do from a technology and a solutions perspective is really dedicated to TikTok Shop and social commerce and this growing wave of how to sell through content and creators. So one is the technology. We were actually the first partner to launch with TikTok Shop in 2023. We were one of two partners to actually build an integration between Shopify and TikTok Shop. And we currently have about 4,000 brands that are linked to our connector, where we pull products in from Shopify. When TikTok Shop orders are made, we send the orders back into Shopify. When packages are sent, we pull the tracking number back into TikTok Shop. So giving you a seamless way to integrate into TikTok Shop. There's also other providers, so you definitely don't have to use us. But we've been on the platform for a long time and can probably help you out if you have any troubles getting set up and products into TikTok Shop. We've helped brands like Comfrt, Stanley, and ColourPop really launch on the platform by setting that foundation and integration for their store. Very soon after that, TikTok said, we have all these brands on the platform, but they need a little bit more service partners that understand social commerce, the proliferation of content necessary to actually scale. So we actually became a full TSP, so TikTok Shop partner that helps with mapping out assortments, generating a lot of outreach for creators and getting out free samples, engaging with those creators to build communities, running GMV Max, which is the ad platform for TikTok Shop. And then we also do some live shopping here in Irvine, California from our studio. So brands like Dr. Squatch, we helped launch on the platform a couple years ago. We've also launched Estee Lauder brands, MAC Cosmetics, and a lot of other Sephora brands. So we specialize in personal care and beauty when it comes to services, but from a technology, we serve all verticals. This is the ACE framework. So if you work closely with TikTok, you'll probably see something like this slide pop up quite a bit. This really gives you a good idea of how you actually get the flywheel going for TikTok Shop. So when you work with Rebecca's team, they'll help you get set up, get approved as a shop seller, get the right category mapped out. And after that, you really have to build out your own strategy or work with a agency such as ours to really grow on the platform. So what A stands for on the left-hand side is assortment, content, and empowerment. For those of you that don't know, you definitely win on TikTok Shop at a product level. So you don't win at a brand level. You want to make sure you have the right assortment and able to scale on the platform. So the first exercise we do with every single client of ours is we sit down, we look at what products you have for the right to win on the platform, what kind of price point is currently winning within your category on TikTok Shop. Are there unique bundles? Is there unique assortment or exclusive assortment we can map out for TikTok Shop? And that's kind of where you start. After you find the right assortment, you really need as much content as possible going to that product ID. So what that usually means is a lot of creator outreach, a lot of creator sampling, waiting for the content to come back in, and then letting the TikTok Shop algorithm take control of what organic videos will start doing well. Once you do that, you can actually put some ad spend or run some campaigns or add discounts to some of the top performing products, and you really create this flywheel out of product ID. We recommend for most brands to start with probably 2 to 3 product IDs. Unless you're a massive brand with a huge catalog and big sampling budgets, you could probably flex that up to 3 to 5 products per quarter. The last part is empowerment. When things start to work, there's 2 places or 2 levers that you could start pulling. One is definitely going to be the ad spend side. So GMV Max is an auto bidding behavior ad platform within TikTok Shop. So this is totally separate from your regular TikTok ads that you're driving to your D2C platform. This is in platform just for TikTok Shop. And the 2 levers you'll have, or 3, is you pick a product and you pick what ROI you want the platform to target, and then the spend you want to put behind it. If it has very successful videos and they can roll through that spend at the target ROI, you'll spend through your ad spend and hopefully drive a lot of sales. If there's not enough content or not enough successful and high converting content, then it won't spend through the ad spend. So all of this is what we help brands out with. Do know that TikTok Shop is very driven off of a GPM metrics, so how much GMV you're generating per 1,000 views. So it really is important not to just get the volume of creative, but also to get the high quality creators on board too. What this looks like from a sequence from beginning to end, working with Rebecca's team to really get onboarding and get approved as a seller. You want to integrate your platform likely through Shopify to pull your products in. You're probably going to launch and test with some orders to make sure that all your flows are working back into Shopify. And what Kent will touch on, probably the most important piece, because Shop Score is so important within the platform, is to make sure that your return and post-purchase experience is optimized. So shipping labels for returns, making sure that returns are received within the SLAs, and then you're actually approving it through the platform is super important. Once you're done testing, you usually carve out the assortments, you go to creator outreach, and then when you get content, you'll start really graduating that content into paid spend. And the most important part about TikTok Shop is when you find some of those winning creators, make sure you're building community with those creators to create more content. So volume is key, and high quality creators is going to be your key to unlock great success on the platforms. And when you do that, you could also run ads and manage some campaigns. Fully ramped, this is what it looks like for one of our clients. Last month in July, they topped over $1.5 million just on TikTok Shop, many millions outside of TikTok Shop, but this is what our team did for them. So we literally reached out to about 160,000 creators within the platform within that month. A lot of those creators wanted free samples, and then when they had the samples requested, we would approve almost 4,000 in that 1 month. We generated over 6,000 pieces of content for this brand, with over $1.6 million generated in GMV. They also had a nice brand campaign, I believe mid-month, that gave them a big bump. So moments like these, and really when you're fully ramped, this is what it looks like to be $1 million per month brand on TikTok Shop. And I'll let the Comfrt team talk about what it means to be much more than that in a little bit. And I believe that was it for me. So if you have any questions, please reach out. We are excited to chat. We live and breathe TikTok Shop. So if you have any questions, and even if it's just helping out with the integration, please let us know. And I will pass it over to Kent.
There we go. Awesome. Thanks so much, Eddie. Thanks, TikTok team, for having us here. Thanks, Comfrt, for joining us as well. Thank you all for being here for a little bit of your afternoon. My name's Kent. I lead partnerships and business development for Loop. And so work closely with our partners at Overcast and our partners at TikTok. And I'm excited to be sharing a little bit more about Loop. If Loop is new to you or you haven't heard of us before, we are a operations platform built for retention. We got our start as a returns automation platform, focusing really heavily on Shopify brands. The goal there being, how do we take more refunds and turn those into exchanges? How do we take that experience or that moment in time where a sale didn't work out And instead of just money out the door back to the shopper, how do we keep that next sale with the brand and help drive that into a buying opportunity? And from there, we're now privileged to serve over 5,000 brands on and off Shopify. And they keep asking us, hey, can you help us solve more of these problems? It's not just a returns problem. There might be an issue with like pre or post purchase, but before the return, where's my order? So we have branded tracking pages now. We offer package protection if an item gets lost, damaged, or stolen in transit. Delivery promise that you can put in the checkout to give assurance for when the package is going to arrive and help drive conversion by making sure that the item is going to be there on time, and also order editing. So a host of different experiences now. But I like to think, everything you saw from Rebecca and from Eddie on that browse experience, that buy experience, how do you leverage TikTok as a channel to uncover more customers, serve existing customers, meet your shoppers where they are? What happens after that buy button? That whole post-purchase journey. It's kind of like the dark underbelly of commerce. Far away from the storefronts in LA or in New York or in Paris or LA. This is where the fulfillment happens. This is where the shipments happen, and it's honestly where many cases all those investments you've made in the pre-purchase journey, you're going to make or break them there. Like if there's a mistake post-purchase, if the returns experience is clunky or opaque or non-existent, all of that effort you put to acquire the customer could be lost in that moment. And so Loop really exists to serve brands, help them serve their customers in that moment. And I think what we're trying to do is kind of answer this question, which whether shoppers realize it or not is often lurking in the back of their minds, which is, what if it doesn't work out? I found this amazing new creator on TikTok. I see this new product. It looks too good to be true. It's incredible. I've got to try it. If it was in a store, they would try it on. If it was, any other kind of in-person experience, there'd be options to test it, to check it out. They would know what to do if they needed to return it. But when they're online, that doesn't exist. And oftentimes, if the answer to what if it doesn't work out isn't clear, that's when the whole experience can kind of fall off the rails. And so Loop is there to help you extend all of the personalization, all of the thought and care and like brand that you've put into the buying experience, to extend that to your post-purchase experience as well. We've now been privileged to serve over 200 million shoppers, and so we've pulled all of that experience into the different adaptive policies that we have, into the flexibility that's built into our platform, that lets you take that first-time buyer and turn them truly into a lifetime customer. And so with TikTok, what we did, we were getting increasing requests from brands who are really, really investing in TikTok. We've seen our TikTok, we can see the different channels where sales come through. I think it's more than 20x in the past year. Brands who might have been like D2C native, they might have been Shopify first. Maybe they've dabbled in other channels as well, but they're really investing heavily in TikTok. And they would say to us, hey, we want to take all of the things that make Loop great and all of the flexibility that I have in Loop, and we want to extend that to the experience of a return in TikTok and make sure that we provide that same world-class experience. And so for brands, a lot of the things that we see here, whether that be dynamic policies that allow you to provide one set of kind of return experiences for certain customers or another, whether it's preventing fraud through our intelligence layer, whether it's dynamically routing returns maybe from one warehouse to another or from one part of the country to another, all of the rules and all of the customizations you want to build into your business, we can now extend that to TikTok as well. And so when the time came to start developing, we were introduced actually by the TikTok team to Overcast. Eddie shared with you kind of the special relationship they have as one of TikTok's most established and longest serving partners. And so they were the ones that we leaned on to help us co-develop this app that now allows you to link not just the order linking and all the things that Overcast is doing between Shopify and TikTok, but now pulling in all of your Loop data and any carrier rates, carrier accounts, customizations that you might have, automations that you might have built into your warehouse processes. If you've sold on TikTok before, then you're all too familiar with the after sale score. And they alluded to that earlier, like how it's really, really key with how brands are like ranked on TikTok, how they show up in algorithms. TikTok wants to make sure that you're providing good service, fast response times to your shoppers. And so with Loop, we enable that through some of the automations that we've built that now aren't just available for your direct-to-consumer site. They can now be extended seamlessly to your TikTok sales channel as well. And so that's been a really cool experience. Again, it's been awesome to see the growth that TikTok is having. I think because of the users that are on TikTok, because just the traffic and the eyes that you have on TikTok. It's been really exciting to see some brands that maybe historically were only selling through Shopify, and are now finally starting to branch out and become true multi-channel brands, with TikTok being the one where they're seeing the most growth. So if that's you, we'd love to chat more. You can go visit our website. There's a really easy demo form there. You can get a demo live, or connect with somebody on our team. But whether it's for Shopify or for TikTok, we'd love to talk more and see how we can take that world class brand and experience you're building on the discovery, the browse, the buy journey, and extend that all the way through to the full customer life cycle. And with that, I think who we've all been here waiting to hear from is I'll hand it over to the Comfort team, and let them take it from here.
Thank you so much, Kent, and everybody. Yeah, I'm Courtney Anderson. I'm the VP of Customer Experience here at Comfrt, here with Hannah, who is on my team, who is in charge of our shop health. She is a very integral part of our team, and I'm so happy to have her here with us. So, wanted to kind of give a little bit of background of kind of where Comfrt got started, especially with TikTok. This week is going to be our fourth birthday as a company. And so the growth that we've had is outrageous and really exciting. And a lot of it has to do with TikTok Shop and our success there. Let me go to the next slide. So, gotta go back. So this is kind of our launch strategy. How we got started 4 years ago. We started with just homemade content by our founder and CEO and the first employees. We had a limited assortment of product that was kind of almost always sold out. We started with onboarding 3 micro UGC creators to help us elevate the content and bring a more polished brand feel. And so the switch to launch on TikTok Shop was kind of a no-brainer. We partnered with recognizable TikTok personalities like Harry Jowsey, Gabby Gonzalez, and Josh Goldie to really create scroll-stopping content. We wanted people to instantly have familiarity with our brand. We had to build credibility and brand curiosity. You've probably all seen the airplane mode hoodie. That is kind of our number one, along with our Dreamer blanket product. And if you haven't seen it, you will see it now because your phones are listening to you and you are going to start to get served ads and it's going to be great. We also leaned into native content, TikTok Shop accessibility. We had UGC FOMO because we were always sold out, and going viral really became the foundation for scaling our brand. And as Kent mentioned, we piloted this direct loop returns integration with TikTok Shop and Silk. And the main objective, obviously, was to maintain our shop health, SPS, and scalability through improved customer experience. Year to date, we are number one apparel brand on TikTok Shop. We've sold over 1.4 million units, over 600,000 customers just this year, and we have a repurchase rate of 43%, which is really great. We got some trying to get that video played, I think. That's fine. It's just a cute video. That's all. But the solution, yeah. So through the Loop integration pilot, we gained a lot of amazing things that helped us maintain our scalability. So we had direct access through the enhanced return analytics with Loop. We had improved visibility into back-end processes that supported our shop health. And we had a dedicated team across all three of these partners. So TikTok Shop, Silk, and Loop for helping us troubleshoot and do feature development so that others who want to use this app and use this integration have that same access that we do. Amazing. So Eddie, I know we've got some questions. We'd love to get into them.
Yeah, one thing is maybe just touching on kind of the loop integration and everything that the teams have worked so hard to put together. What was life like before for TikTok Shop returns before the loop integration was done?
Yeah, I'll let Hannah speak to that. She's been with Comfrt a little bit longer. So yeah,
Yeah,
Hannah, take it away.
What was life like before we
yeah,
integrated?
yeah.
It was a very manual process. We had agents that their job was to do nothing but click a button all throughout the day, making sure that we were getting returns approved in a timely manner to keep that after sales handling time down. Since as It's been mentioned multiple times. Our after sales handling is so integral to keeping our SPS high. That was a top priority, but it was a very manual process. And that's
Yeah.
something that through the integration, we have been able to automate a lot of those things and significantly lower our after sales handling time. So.
Yeah, and I think something that's often overlooked is for people getting on TikTok Shop, they jump right into creators and content and ad spend and how do I go viral? But you forget about that foundation layer, right? And SPS is definitely what we say is the heartbeat of the store. That's going to be your shop score. It's 0 to 5 from a ranking perspective. Anything north of 4, you're doing good. Anything under, there's kind of improvements to be made. And for this shop score, there's 3 main pillars. One is going to be your product reviews. So do you have good products? Are people giving you 4 and 5 stars? There's going to be a customer service one. So are you answering people at the right time? And then there's going to be a logistics one. That's going to include shipping SLAs and also some return metrics. So even if any of those dip and your shop score hurts or suffers, you're actually going to get kind of suppressed traffic. So yes, creators are everything from a content and GMV perspective, but making sure you have a shop score allows you to optimize the performance on the store. So super important and something that Hannah and Courtney and the rest of the team at Comfrt do such a good job of keeping that 4.5 and above as a star store.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the whole reason we created this role that Hannah has as our shop supervisor for health and compliance to make sure that all of the teams are working together. That's super important when you think about scalability. To your point, Eddie, you think right, creators, GMV, what are the ad spend, but you got to have the operations on the back end to be able to back it up and to support. You have an item go viral, and if you don't have the returns platform set up, if there are any issues or your logistics set up to support that, you're never going to be able to scale if you want that continued virality.
Absolutely. I think we have a question from Joel. And I could also chime in, but I would love to hear from the Comfrt team first. How do you convert followers on TikTok into TikTok Shop buyers?
That's a great question. I think one of the main things that we do really well is leaning into our creators. They are also real customers. We have thousands of brand ambassadors that are just so invested and so interested in our product that they want to sell. I think we can speak back to some of the samples that you can do and request on TikTok Shop. There's also another one where a regular customer can request a refundable sample. And so if they sell enough or they get enough virality on their own videos, they can then get refunded for that item. So it's working together with all of the different systems and partners within TikTok Shop. So we use a lot of like I said, these micro creators who are really leaning into building their own brand, but want to be a part of what Comfrt is really growing in terms of, our following. But those really TikTok Shop helps turn those into buyers, not just on TikTok Shop, but our e-commerce site as well. It really is an amazing funnel and what Hudson likes to call the halo effect of really bringing in people who resonate with our brand, with our values and turning it into, what their relationship becomes. It's not just like I'm buying this. It really is building a relationship with your followers, with your customers, and making sure the back end processes support that.
Yeah, and just to touch on that too, I think the halo effect of TikTok Shop is often overlooked. I think Comfort's one of the testaments where, yes, they've done 1.4 million units sold on the platform, but I'll let them tell you how much more millions they've done outside of the platform because of all the content and all the views and what it's done for the brand, which is incredible. And then one other thing to touch on, Joel, is TikTok's algorithm is far different from any other social media platform. So most social media platforms, let's just say on Meta, a lot of the views are follower based, meaning I have to kind of follow someone or they have to follow someone that I kind of know in order to see these videos. Everything on TikTok is actually interest based. And that's why leaning into this micro creators and having all this content around one subject matter or one product actually gives you a really good opportunity to succeed, even if you don't have a million followers on your brand page or as a personal page. So TikTok really has democratized social commerce, both for anyone trying to be a content creator and then also people jumping in the TikTok Shop to really grow on the platform, which is great to see. And then I think that also goes for Mallory, your question, early stage brand that heavily relies on UGC partners rather than their own social content. That's the advice. You don't need to have a strong social presence to win on TikTok Shop. You do need to work with hundreds, if not thousands, of creators eventually to win on the platform and get a lot of content, but that definitely doesn't have to be content of your own. So I say you always have two customers on the platform. One is obviously the customers buying from you, but two are your creators. So how do you earn the right to win for them to create for you, especially when there's now 100,000 plus brands on the platform, right? So I think they say there's around 1 million creators, and then they say around 10,000 are what we call level 3 and above. So people generating over $25,000 a month on the platform. All these brands are kind of fighting to refer to those same 10,000 creators. So how do you stand out, whether it's with your product, is with your relationship building skills, or with your commission model? That's all really, really important as you lean into the platform. Right. And then for the Comfort team, can either of you kind of locate that one big unlock that really helps scale the channel? Or are you guys from day one just like, what the heck's going on? This is crazy.
Honestly, I think this pilot program was the unlock for us, as a brand that is growing so fast with tons of virality, right? We had so much, like, we're always sold out. That was so true for such a long time that it created this FOMO, but we needed, again, the systems in the back end to be able to support that. If we didn't have this insight into our return analytics, that gave us deeper understanding of anything that was potentially broken in our process, whether it was through logistics, whether it was through return processing, whether it was through systems or flows that we had set up in TikTok Shop itself. Having the dedicated team going through this pilot program was the biggest unlock for us, and really being able to lean into those things, whether it was, again, feature requests of, hey, this is how we think we could improve this for other merchants who would want to be using this, or oops, something broke. How do we fix this really quickly? Having that relationship with our partners was absolutely the most important thing for us. Is it was immediacy, it was visibility into what is helpful for us and can help us, again, promote and deliver on that scalability for our own team. And also, I think building out internally as well. We had, a very small team at first. I'll continue to say Comfrt has grown exponentially and sometimes unfathomable ways just in the 4 years that we've been a company, and building out the support and dedicated team that works on TikTok Shop, whether it's from the marketing team, whether it's from the ecom team who is supporting, PDPs, which is completely different brand almost than what we have on ecom. You have to Kent's point, reach your customers where they are, and being able to support the differences between your website and TikTok Shop, and having teams who are dedicated and have the experience. A lot of other brands have started to lean into TikTok Shop, and there are really great people out there who you can hire who have had experience, and we've done that at Comfrt. We have an amazing team who works with creators, works with the UGC. We have an amazing CX team who deals with any issues that the customers have, and especially Hannah, who is literally, her whole job is our shop health. So Hannah, I think you could speak a little bit more to that as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. Building out the team was a huge unlock. As Courtney said, we used to be a very, very small group trying to do a whole lot. And we have been blessed to just grow out the team with some phenomenal people to really support those moments where we may not be doing something up to platform par and we've got to make quick adjustments, and having those cross-functional conversations. And that's been a huge unlock, as well as this pilot program. I totally agree. Having a dedicated team to go to and say, hey, this tech thing, we need this feature, and having them have an urgent response and being able to get back to us and implement these features, because we are operating at such a high volume. There are needs for the business that aren't necessarily the same for somebody that's just starting out. And so we've been able to closely partner with Ken's team, Eddie's team, the team at TikTok, to really, really drive these new features and allow all brands to have access to some of these growth mechanisms.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that everyone should be prepared for is TikTok, and TikTok Shop never sleeps, right? So there's a lot of orders on the weekends, a lot of orders at nighttime, and then I think what the Comfort team has done such an incredible job is obviously growing the internal team exponentially, but then leaning on some of the external partners to fill the gaps that they just can't quite yet. So it's been a lot of fun working with them, but I think just from a model brand on how they lean on partners early on and slowly brought things in house, and then there's some specialties that where they kept external is a great example of why they've been so successful so far. Maybe a quick question on and whether I know Hannah, you measure success usually by SPS, right? And then that equates to better traffic and happier customers. But maybe for you, Hannah, or for Courtney, how else do you measure success on TikTok Shop as of right now?
So
Yeah.
absolutely, SPS is huge, shop health is huge, managing your violations and your warnings and all of those things, the new VOC feature, all of those are huge in managing success. Um, but as Courtney spoke to early, or with the when you have a product go viral, you need to be able to have those back end things set up to support that. So I think it's the ability to maintain that scale while also not deteriorating the customer journey, and the experience that the customer is having on TikTok Shop. Because as brands, we have a portion of that in our control, and a portion of that is working with TikTok or with Loop to continue to make that a top tier experience. So I'd say that. And then Courtney, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. And especially on the customer journey piece is are our customers happy purchasing from TikTok Shop? You know, we want to make sure that it feels like an omni-channel experience, whether regardless of where they're purchasing. They're getting, you know, the customer experience of Comfort, whether they've purchased on TikTok Shop or our website. It's seamless. Even with all the differences that are on TikTok Shop, I think another measurement of success is obviously like GMV, how many creators we have, how successful our lives are. And I think you have to look at everything holistically. One of them, to your point, Eddie, of having three specific parts of the SPS score is all of those things are not completely individual. You have to make sure that everything is working really well together. And I think that's something that we've really been able to do well, both with internal and external partners, a lot of cross-functional work across our internal team
Yeah.
to make sure, right, we're supporting the virality of the moment, whatever product that is. But even at the beginning, when you spoke to what is the assortment that we're bringing to TikTok Shop, it really starts with sales planning and mapping out everything. You can't just think about one aspect. You have to think completely holistically. So we do look at a little bit of everything to make sure that we're feeling like we're having a successful experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Hannah, I'm not sure if either you or Courtney are much on this side, but do you know the volume of creators and the outreach and the samples that you're sending out right now? Someone asked. If not, I can also baseline some of the larger brands on the platform and the type of outreach they're doing.
I don't have the exact numbers, but it is a lot. Thousands of creators, you know, thousands of samples, especially like I said, lean into the refundable samples as well. That's a really great option to turn on because that way it opens up people who you might not
Yeah.
consider to be, you know, a creator. It gives them the opportunity to enhance your brand.
Yeah, these refundable samples are quite dynamic too, right? So you can say, hey, when someone posts a video, they can actually get the refund, or they have to make a first sale, or they have to make two sales.
Mhm.
So you as a brand, depending on your maturation level on the platform, can determine what constitutes that refund for that certain creator. Aaron, to answer your question, I will say for smaller brands that are starting off on the platform, anything north of 1,000 messages per day through some of these platforms is great. I think it's less of an outreach number. It's more of a sample send number. And TikTok usually benchmarks around 200 to 300 samples per product ID when you get started, just to have enough content to really start the flywheel and get things coming back in. I'm not sure, Rebecca, if you have any other kind of input there, but that's kind of where we would start off with. Um, and then there's a couple of platforms that we can name that really helps you with outreach. There's only 4 approved through the App Store right now for TikTok Shop. One's Cruva, Cruva. One is Yuka, Euka. And then you have one called Blazy, and then one called Reacher. So one of those platforms can help you with the creator outreach. A few hundred samples per month at a product ID would be great. And then a couple other smaller questions. If you're a startup, how many content creators would you recommend? Kind of in that same vein, a few hundred per month, and really try to scale up to that couple of thousand if you have the samples and the product for it, because you really need that much content if you ever have aspirations of being a comfort on the platform. And then I think Terry mentioned if you're not currently not on TikTok, do you need to have a personal account first or a brand account or both? Rebecca, do you want to touch on that, just on some of the requirements in order to start a TikTok shop?
Yeah, I think to start a TikTok shop, it might like sound really scary, but it really is not. Like so for the registration process, it's really, really easy. It's gonna ask for your phone number, email address, something like that. And when you move on to the onboarding stage, it's gonna ask you to submit documents. And I know that can be confusing for some people with like, the different like types of documents and all that. And that's why we have the account manager here to help you out with a smoother onboarding journey. I think that is a really great perk that everybody should take advantage of if you can. And yeah, it's really easy. And if you have any specific questions about your individual cases, like we're happy to follow up after this webinar and answer them for you.
Awesome. And maybe just a final closing remark. I know, Courtney, you and your team work very closely just on the CX perspective. So forget about TikTok Shop in general, but for a partner like Loop Returns, what has it meant for you guys as you guys scale in volume and obviously not millions of orders and get back, a great number of returns? What does the partnership with Loop has meant to the business?
I think you can't even put a price on it. I've worked with Lupa in other roles with different merchants, and it's always been the same amazing experience. They're always looking to innovate. We at Comfort love to be early adopters, so that's also why we jumped on this pilot program. We want to try new things. We want to make sure that we're leaning into the future, and Loop is absolutely a part of that. They're always looking for new things. They're always looking to find out what's important to us as a brand. What are the things that we need that they maybe don't support yet or are in their pipeline, and we can help figure out what those priorities are. I think it's an invaluable partnership. Yeah, they're just amazing.
Yeah, and I could attest to that from the technology partnership side, Kent and team, and just these integrations and how fast they have to keep up with the top brands on Shopify is incredible. So, Kent and team, thank you so much, and also for TikTok Shop, who's been an incredible partner for ours for coming up on 4 years now. Very similar to Comfort, we were very early on the platform, so it's been great. I think we're right at time, so I want to thank everyone for joining. I want to thank all the panelists for joining the Comfort team, Kent from Loop, and then Rebecca from TikTok Shop. This has been awesome. I think we continue to demystify TikTok Shop. It is an emerging platform. I think they're going to go from 15 billion to maybe $30 billion in sales this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if they doubled again next year. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of us or myself if you want to get launched on the brand and integrate and get some products in there. So thank you, everyone. And I hope we do this again very soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, team.
Thank
Yes.
you.